Hey guys, welcome to the Big Time with Austin, your monthly movie podcast where we talk about movie news, sometimes video game news, anything that happened over the past month. I am your host, Austin. I am joined by co-host Carson Moore. And we got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. A lot of interesting stuff happened this month. If you guys are listening to this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, welcome. And but anything we should talk about before we get into this? Even a couple of things happened today, and some of the stuff that happened today while we're recording this actually can be intertwined with some of these topics that we're talking about. So, um,
Uh, no, I don't think there's anything in particular that I would say. I The difficult thing, I think, and everybody who, is listening in knows this, is sometimes you can have a really great number of incredible topics to talk about, and then something else, like you said, happens, and it's like, oh, do we, adjust it? We could probably sit here talking about the news and even just the entertainment space or like the video game space for hours, right? So it's trying to pick and choose all the things that are the most pressing and present it to you all to give some thought on. And we really appreciate the comments. So continue bringing those comments. I like to sometimes usually check before the next episode to see just kind of what people are saying. So no, I thought it was good.
yeah,
Keep them coming and
um,
agree with me more than
yeah,
Austin. Just kidding.
no,
Just kidding.
no bucket topics today. I mean, even though there was a Gladiator bucket review, but we don't need to talk about that one. Um, even though I'm excited for Gladiator too. I the bucket's kind of lame, but so interesting topic, at least topics all around. The first topic is that is Russ is getting a world premiere. I don't know if this means it's getting a theatrical release like in general, but it's getting a world premiere. I think it's getting three different premieres from my understanding from when I last read this. Or no, that's 3 years ago. It's three after 3 years. I'm hearing myself talk. I don't know what that is from, but I'm hearing myself talk.
I can hear you talk too.
You can hear me talk too. Well, like there's some form of
Like
feedback.
normal. Yeah, like normal. But I don't know why there would be feedback here in headphones.
Are they really loud? Um,
No.
Strange. Um, okay.
It's
Well,
just, it's the same
but
headphones I use every time too. Isn't that interesting? We love technology, don't we, everybody?
yeah, names he wants to replace everyone. And Elon Musk. But yeah, so after 3 years, it's finally getting a world premiere. And if you guys don't know what's been going on with the set of Rust, is that there was a shooting on Rust that involved someone dying. There it is again. That is gonna get on my nerves. You need to figure out what that is. It's coming from your side. I think it is
Here,
your headphones because
we're gonna test it.
it's going through your
Watch.
speakers. Yeah. Yeah. Nope. No audio. No feedback. It is all you.
How is that possible?
It's because it's your earbuds, so that the speakers are feeding through your microphone on your earbuds. Um,
How about
because
now?
test. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna edit this out or I'm gonna leave it in. We'll figure it out later on. But yeah, so if you guys don't know what's going on the set of Russ had a shooting involving someone dying. And uh next a couple of court cases had been uh involved with Alec Baldwin and next the armorer, which the armorer has been found guilty. I don't know if she did it on purpose. I don't know if they addressed that in her case at all. It was probably by accident, but somehow a bullet rounded up on set, and it's ended up being her fault. Alec Baldwin has been what's the word that they use? He
They
didn't
threw out the case.
they threw out the case. Okay. And he's been,
So,
acquitted of all charges.
so here's the thing about this, and this topic. I feel like there's been so many different things that came forward, then there was different news, and then they were considering, you know,
Shelving it.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I think the most respectful thing that you can do is, well, one, as a camera, I think she was a camera operator. I feel
Mhm.
like in order to like really honor that, I think if they do a really great job of honoring her and her work on the film, I think that would be a great way to say like, hey, she was super passionate about this, and it was really sad that a bad failed prop cost her life. But how do we respect and honor that, and still release? Because otherwise, you're talking about a movie that she died for, doesn't even get released. That just seems silly to me. And
Yeah.
so I think there's a really good way to do it to be respectful and honoring of without being like, oh yeah, we just need to make money. You know what I mean? And I'm excited that they're actually going to release it. Now, as to
Yeah.
where it gets released and everything, it didn't say
The
obviously, but
premiere
I
is
mean,
in Poland. So,
uh,
but we don't
are we
know if
flying? Are we flying
are,
over?
are we
I'm just
going?
kidding.
I don't got a passport. How long does it take to get a passport? Um,
Uh, Months.
oh,
So
then I'm not gonna go unless we'll um sneak myself on a plane or something. But the reason why they're releasing the film is because the husband gave the basically the green light to releasing it, saying that that she would want it been released, and
which,
which is
yeah,
cool, nice. That's nice for him to give the what's the word I am blanking on the word
like
uh
give his blessing almost.
blessing, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I mean, the armorer is serving 18 months. I think,
I
I don't
feel
know if
like
it's
it
in
should be
prison or
more.
jail. Well, I mean, there's a difference between being negligent and like purposefully trying to kill somebody. So, uh, if you are not, I'm not saying incompetence is good, but I don't think anybody went on that movie set and was like, yes, let's give Alec Baldwin,
Well,
opportunity and
actually,
motive.
if you really think about it, there was that one person that got the real bullet on set. It's like,
Correct.
but
So, but I mean, I would have to look at them side by side, but I remember them saying there was like a diagram of how like similar the bullets looked.
yeah.
And I'd be curious to know, like, if it was like, if we're trying to run to shoot a new scene, would you have recognized it immediately? I don't know. I would
But
imagine they would have to,
don't
but
you test it out though? Don't you test out the gun to see if it actually shoots a real bullet or not?
I mean, you would think, but I mean, negligence happens all the time. It's like
Oh,
when people go like airplanes, there was one that was going to fly away and they didn't secure like the screws and then it caused it to crash. So negligence can happen at any job, anytime, anywhere. And people are people. And in this case, a bad, bad negligence killed somebody. So,
like NASA in The Martian. They got Mark Matt Damon stuck on Mars. Uh,
let's go ask Matt Damon how he feels about being stuck on Mars.
Yeah.
So
I don't
if
know.
I bet you Elon Musk could send him to real Mars too. So
Probably. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm really looking forward to see if we even get if the public world will get to see it. I don't know what this means premiere wise. I would assume it'll probably get a 2025 release date, um, just for next year and not trying to shove it in the holidays release date because
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff coming out this at the end of this year that I don't think they want to be putting it up against. And so I could see this maybe coming out like for everyone else and maybe in March, April of next year.
And that's the thing is let's see where it takes. Let's see where it leads us and see how it does. And yeah, I'm interested to see. I think I know more about the news than I do about his movie.
Yeah,
So
I don't know anything about his movie besides it's a Western. That's pretty much all that is known
yeah.
about it. But yeah, let us guys know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below because there's been some people's thought like I guess feedback, or not really feedback. There's been saying that people should that they shouldn't even release it. That. So let us know your guys' thoughts if you agree on this decision of it being released, or if they shouldn't release it. And if you guys are excited for this release, let us know in the comment section
Yeah.
below.
And let
Um,
us know if you see it. I'm curious to hear what people think of it too, if they end up watching it. So,
yeah.
but
Well,
mhm.
my device crashed. So I gotta go to my original notes. Well, it's I think it's back. I have no idea. So, Glen Powell, moving on to the
Oh
next
gosh.
topic. Glen Powell Running Man remake releasing in 2025. So I don't think there was a precise release date in this article, but it's coming out sometime next year. I kn- okay,
Yeah.
July 18th of 2025. That's what it was. Okay. I don't know
Oh
anything
gosh.
about this remake. I've never seen the original one. Probably isn't that good.
So, so here's the thing. Uh, I'm gonna be careful. So it's a dystopian action film, which I do know because I actually have seen parts of it.
Okay.
Um, it did okay the first time. It made more money than it cost. Here's a few things though. Um,
Are there things about
one,
it that can
it's
be remade, for one? Is there things about it?
yes. I mean, here's the thing. Basically, the whole premise of it is it's in like the early 2000, or maybe it's 20 like 16, 2017 or something. So
Okay.
obviously this is released in the 80s.
Yeah.
Dystopian, economic collapse. Um, basically eh, eh, it's basically how Rome controlled their population of like, hey, everybody, come watch people kill each other in the Colosseum. They tried to control them through like violent TV shows, etc. So it's very interesting because it's how it views it and how it walks through it. I'm not a big fan of. I'm gonna get crucified for this in the comment section. I don't like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I just
I mean, he's not a really good actor. I will agree with you there.
no.
But
E-
he works as the Terminator. He works as that that's it. Is the
Yeah,
Terminator. Because it's such a easy, no, I wouldn't say it's an easy role, but it's a simple role. Like where you have to act like a robot and look in a certain direction, but he has like the body and like the looks for that type of scariness
correct.
to that character. But when you watch him in like Total Recall, there's some charm to his acting that works for it, but there's other
Or
parts where
like
it doesn't work and it comes off very cringy and laughable.
correct. And here's the thing is that when you like go read it and understand and walk through it, it's an entertaining movie. I will say it's entertaining. As to what they're going to do, I don't necessarily know. That's what I'm kind of confused upon. But I think the thing for me about this that is the most agitating is Glen Powell is in every third movie
Remake.
that Hol oh, I'm like
Hey, he's
it like
he's a great actor and he was good in Twisters. I just bought it on 4K. Love that movie. Now, and like I know a lot of people are worried that he's gonna get stuck in this situation where he's only gonna be doing remake films, but he has like original stuff coming out. He was in Anyone But You that did really well, and he was also in Hitman, which was a Netflix movie, which was actually kind of funny, and he was really good in
so
it
I don't have a problem with him being in remakes. I just have being a problem
and
with him being
everything.
in like every third movie on the planet. It's they go through and it's like there's so many actors and actresses out there that are probably really great
Mm.
that deserve a shot at, and we're putting him in every third
Well,
movie. So
now this is technically, let's just really be realistic about this. Top Gun is what put him on the map. If you go back and watch a lot of stuff, like if you go to his, like, let's say his IMDb, you'd be like, oh, he was in that? Oh, because you know why I didn't know he was in? He was in Spy Kids 3.
yeah, I did know
I,
that. Elijah
I,
Wood was in that too.
yeah.
So
And so he's been in the business for a very long time. This is just now he is being very well known. Like Chris Pratt when he was in Guardians, now Chris Pratt was in Jurassic World and now in all these other stuff. And so I think it's just a matter of
I feel the
time.
same way though.
No,
I
no,
feel the same
definitely.
way about that. It's like put somebody else in it. I it just makes it very unfortunate because you're like, there's very few people that I'd be like, I want to see that person in every third movie under the sun. Like Denzel
Yeah.
Washington, I could watch all day. Um, George Clooney, some stuff I could watch all day. And then there's like him, he's being put in a lot of stuff. Um, uh, why can't I think of his name? Mandalorian guy is being put in
Oh,
everything.
Pedro
Uh,
Pascal.
thank you. I'm so sorry. I had such a problem remembering. They just keep putting all these people in the
Well,
same one.
Pedro Pascal hasn't been a main character since The Last of Us and
I think
Mandalorian.
I think for me, what's really difficult is if you do one series, like if you do one, like if you do Star Wars, or if you do Marvel, or if you do when you, it would be like somebody being in Lord of the Rings, being in Marvel, being in Star Wars. It's for me, it's like I feel like you should be in like three different universe.
Franchises.
Yeah, it's just very difficult for me to get my head around. So,
I don't know.
um,
I mean, it's a paying job, and say if you were in
oh,
Star Wars and Marvel, you would not turn down playing the
oh,
part in Gladiator.
no, you wouldn't. However, um, it's not that I get it. These actors and actresses want to get paid
Yeah,
regardless.
it's as
But
if they're good for the role, and you would like to
correct.
see someone else. Yeah,
Or if you could find somebody else, because like I said, it's not like there's not enough Hollywood people or actors that want to be in Hollywood.
yeah.
Like the reason why I really like these is because some actors and actresses get their starts. Like let's think about it. Tom Holland is a perfect example. I know
Topics
that
for later.
he was in like theater and drama, and so
Yeah.
he's obviously very like good. However, like I would say Spider-Man probably helped
Oh no, for
propel
sure.
a good
He
part
would
of his
not.
career.
He would not have gotten the role for Uncharted without Spider-Man. And you know what?
Probably not.
That role would probably gone to Nathan Nolan, and they've been like, "Well, you don't want to do it." Older Nathan Drake, but he looks like the character and he's very well known. And I think people will be a lot of happy with him, which would be the case because not a lot of people like the Uncharted movie. At least the fan base, the movie going audience just really liked the movie, and we're gonna get an Uncharted 2 movie
Mhm.
eventually. But yeah, I could see. I never seen the original Running Man. I'll probably have to check it out before this
You should.
because like in Running Man, Arnold is a buff guy, so who knows, the character must be buff or something, or this could be a twister situation where it's acknowledging the first one, but it's not continuation
Correct. And I'm curious to see what that plays out to be.
unless it
I think
is a full remake, and they already said that. I have no idea. Did they say?
no, I thought it made it seem like it was a continuation, but I have lots of questions. So
Mm.
I mean, they could do a different take from it. Um, you know, they could do a different take from it. In my opinion, it wouldn't be bad. But
Yeah.
no, I think it's very interesting. I'm curious to hear everybody's take. I'm curious if people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, if they like.
Oh, you're gonna get
Um,
hate.
I know, probably. I think for me, it's not that I dislike him. I just don't think he's a very
He's not that like top. He's like a C tier actor that just ends up to be in a very well known franchise.
yeah, I think that's fair. And
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I mean, I would go act and be horrible and make a boatload of money too.
Yeah.
You can't blame people for getting paid, right? So
Mhm.
um but yeah, no, definitely interesting. Let us know. I'm curious to hear. Do you guys like, well, first off, do we think this is going to be a good movie? Do we like Glen Powell? Do we like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Let me know. I'm
Yeah.
curious. So,
Do you want to do this next one?
of course. So, this is interesting. I'm going to say this is methodical and as best as possible. So, we officially got the teaser for a Netflix movie, which is very interesting. And it's going to
Garbage.
be okay, okay. Let's not do that too much yet. But it's going to be March 14th. Um, it's set in the aftermath of, well, one, like a robot uprising. It's called the Electric State. This is where it gets really interesting. So it's Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, uh, Key Kwan.
Hmm.
I'm trying to see who else. Giancarlo Esposito, who's really good. Stanley Tucci. Woody Harrelson apparently too. Anthony Mackie. I
Yeah,
mean,
they might be playing some robots.
it's got a great cast, honestly. So for me, it looks like that to me looks like it's going to be great just based upon all of the information that we've seen thus far.
Yeah,
Um, so I think there's a definite opportunity for this to be good. What I'm most worried about is it's going to be a Netflix like action with no story. Because I feel like a lot
pretty
of the
much
times
literally
we
every
got it.
single
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah.
The only thing I feel like Netflix actually well, this doesn't really count, but the only really good thing that Netflix put out in the past 2 years was Glass Onion.
I do like that. Yeah.
But that's not
I
even
think
a Netflix movie. I don't consider that as a Netflix movie.
the other thing though that I think is really interesting is if you read the comments, a lot of people are mad because the
Oh, that's
movie that
based
the
off a
book,
book?
yeah,
Yeah,
and
you're,
they're like, you are missing the point of this book. And I'm like, well, that would be like me writing a book about Harry Potter and then there be no wizards in it. So
when does Hollywood ever adapt anything right?
they don't.
Besides Harry Potter, apparently.
I think the problem, well, even some of the Harry Potter books they did too, right? But I think the problem for me is that they try and sell it as like
Something new.
we're
It's
we're
not like,
so
yeah,
we're respecting the source material. And then it's like, did
that's
we read the same book? Did we understand the same character? It's very
we
unfortunate. So
did you read this book? Because I didn't know it was based off a book.
no, so I didn't, but I remember the premise of it because we talked about it. I wouldn't say it's dystopian, but it's really trying to underscore that like when technology comes into play, like people do not
Yeah.
people basically lose interest in one another. So
Well,
I wouldn't say dis
since
it
you're a
remind
reader, why
I have
if
not read this one.
well, since you are a reader, would you go read it? And actually, if I bring you on for the movie review, would you do a comparison?
I'd have to see if I could read it, but yes, I could definitely see. I mean, here's the thing. Sci-fi books usually aren't my thing.
Oh, okay.
But for me, I think the hard part, and based on what I'm seeing, and this is where it's difficult. If I read the book, I know for a fact I won't like the movie just based on all the comments that people are saying. Because
Well,
I'm
it's just
going,
a
my first
trailer.
experience. Well, I know, but even the trailer, if they're missing the whole point, um, is like, yeah, I don't know. The other thing too is Chris Pratt looks like every character he's ever played in every movie on the
Yeah,
planet.
he does look like he was just pulled out of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and put into this because he has like the bushy beard and all that.
Yeah,
Uh, the only one I think he drastically looks different is the first Jurassic World. That's probably the only time that he really looks very different, but
which is totally fair.
yeah.
And that's
No,
the thing too, is it's like,
I like Chris Pratt, but I'm sick and tired of these streaming movies that he's been doing.
yeah, I'm on the same thing. So
Well, it's all part of their contract too, and I don't know why. See, like a lot of actors and directors want to push movies into theaters, but then yet they are doing projects like these and not standing up against like Netflix that are 100% against it and only are like, fine, we'll put out this movie for like a week or two because we somewhat believe in it for the Oscars, but we don't really.
and
And
we're gonna put every A-list
actor
movie
and
member that's
and
ever
ha
been in there like
and most
I'm just
narcissistic actress Millie Bobby Brown ever in everything.
no, I'm surprised they didn't go. Usually it's like a bunch of random actresses and actors, or like all of them put together, and then they're like guest starring Eminem, and you're like, why is there a random, like
Eminem.
singer?
Yeah.
There's like a random singer, or like, we're bringing back J Lo
This is
from the
not
early
piece by piece.
2000s. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
So
this is not about what was that movie that came out earlier this year about I can't remember the name of it. It was not very good. It was like a biopic off a singer. That it came out on Valentine's Day with Madam Web. I don't know why I'm blanking it.
Oh,
Uh,
it was not good. I can.
yeah,
I already know what you're talking about. It was not good. It was yeah.
no.
So, but
But yeah, and Millie Bobby Brown in every freaking Netflix project ever. I'm sick and tired of seeing her in every Netflix.
I I guarantee you she has a contract with
No,
them.
she
She
probably
has to.
does. But also, you know what set off her career is Stranger Things. So if she can't really go anywhere else without Netflix, unfortunately, because if she goes
Why
anywhere
would
else,
she? She's getting paid.
yeah, she's
What is
getting
she
paid.
worth? Let's see. Let's look at her. Let's look at her net worth because she's doing something right. And I think
Her
everybody on
her
this,
her parents' bank account.
no, she's
Like
20. She's 20 and she's worth $14 million. I mean, she's doing something right.
not her acting.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like see the thing is like if if she wants to be a Netflix actor, fine. That's like television. It's like no one cares about you type of acting. But as soon as she starts going out and doing like real stuff, like like Godzilla, King of Monsters, her acting then sucks because it's like you're going up against with these like top tier actors, and it's like yeah, you go back into your kindergarten corner over there with
Oh
your
my goodness.
terrible attitude. I've heard like I've seen interviews that she's just not doesn't seem like a very nice person, and she seems like she takes a lot of things for granted type of deal.
I
Maybe
mean, she
that
got she got famous kind of young, so
yeah. So
a lot of that
did
is
Daniel Radcliffe and all the Harry Potter kids, yet they're having way better careers than Millie Bobby Brown
yeah.
and
I was gonna say
are better people in general. And so
no. I don't disagree. I think Emma Watson is so intelligent and so smart. Rupert Grint's
I
doing
haven't
well.
seen her
Daniel
in
Radcliffe.
anything lately. Is
I
she
think
not acting
I
anymore?
think she's an advisor to the UN or something. She has like her doctorate, I think, if I'm not mistaken. She's an activist. Um, no, she went to Brown, which is crazy. Good for Emma Watson.
I mean, hey,
Uh,
if that's what she likes doing, that's what she likes doing. So we're not
yeah,
even talking about the trailer of what this movie of this movie anymore. We're just talking about random stuff at this point.
she she went to Oxford and then she went to Brown. She's great. She doesn't have a doctorate, but she's great.
Yeah.
So,
She's catching up after the 20 years of doing Harry Potter. Um,
yeah, she
how
went.
old is she? Like she like 40? She must be like
Emma Watson?
yeah, she like her
No,
30s.
she, 34?
Oh, close
Gosh,
enough.
dude, 40? Oh my goodness.
I haven't seen a
Everybody
picture of
I've
her in years, so I don't know what she
um
looks like.
she's doing great.
Uh,
So,
but
but
yeah. Let us know your guys' thoughts on the electric state in the comment section below. We didn't really talk about it much, but it seems like not a lot of people are really looking forward to this. But you know what we all should do is just boycott Netflix. And I didn't say that word right. I think I said something completely different.
no,
Did I say it right?
we, why would we boycott them? Because our next topic is specifically about Netflix, and I'm actually
Well,
excited for this.
besides this one, but we should just cancel our subscriptions and next, you know, teach Netflix to put their things out in theaters and also sell physical releases of your movies.
Oh
You're
my goodness,
you're just
we're back on the physical releases.
it's money on and not I get it that physical releases aren't as big anymore, but that's still money sitting on the table that you could
Yeah, Netflix turn into Blockbuster. Put all your stuff on
literally.
physical discs. I'm just kidding.
I mean, like what they can literally just go back to sending discs to people like they used to.
Oh my
But
goodness,
yeah,
terrible idea. Terrible idea.
let us know in the
But
comment section below. But
drop it.
this next Netflix topic is now this is just a rumor because this is off of I don't know if this is like a official site. It's called What's on Netflix. I don't know if they're a worthy site or not. But so take this one with a grain of salt. Terminator Zero renewed for a second season. Now, if you haven't seen my season review and my commentary series that I did with Shauna Rook, you must go check that out for one. Two, I really like Terminator Zero, the first
I did
season.
too. It was so good.
Yeah. Oh,
It was.
the only thing I didn't like about it was the dad because he just sat in a room the whole entire season, just like I'll tell you the answer to your question, but not
He
yet.
was
But I need
talking.
you to answer. Yeah, but you need to answer my question. So it's like, wait, that's not. Hey, hold on, you hypocrite. That's not how that works. And
He
there's
was
like
talking to Kokoro or whatever her name is.
I know, but he's a hypocrite. Um,
I mean,
and and episode 5 and 6 were kind of like the lowest points of the whole entire season,
yeah,
and so overall,
I
still
just
great season.
I just feel bad
Best,
because like they were like, yes, do not kill humans, and then like half the city died.
yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, like
So
I don't so a little bit messy and like a little confusing, but I really like that they expanded how time travel works in the Terminator universe,
yeah, that
but
was pretty good.
but it also gives Skydance a bypass to be able to make as many movies as they want. Be like, oh well, I'm not gonna get into spoilers of how the timeline works if you guys haven't seen it, but they could practically just make as many as they want now with that without quoting rebooting it. It's almost they almost do like a Matrix type of style. It's basically the way
I'm
to
just glad
describe
it
it.
wasn't a Marvel type of style where they're like infinite multiverse, and then it's like 8 out. You're like,
Yeah,
again?
and you can travel
So
to each one.
yeah,
Um,
no, I'm glad they didn't do that. That was much better. So
but what do you expect them to do for season two? Like, what do you see without going into spoilers wise?
so I hope they talk about the future after the series that we saw. So nobody will know who was who versus what. But I want them to expand into Kokoro. I also want them to expand in like the characters, what happened to them, didn't happen to them. You can even do a few flashbacks to show how the dad like grew up. I think all of those would be really, really good inside. Like without going into spoilers, I think they left themselves a lot of room to really build off the story, which I think
Yeah.
is super exciting. And I really, really liked how even though it was a like I don't want to call it an
It's pretty
anime
much
style.
it's anime.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what the correct requirements are, but the style was really good.
I really like the
Um,
CGI. It took a bit for me to get used to it because I don't like that CGI animation that much. I'm more of like an
yeah,
old fartsy apparently. Um, I
yeah.
mean, I
Quit
like
being an
physical.
old
I
fartsy.
like physical media, so of course I'm an old fartsy. Um, but they did a great job with the animation. The characters are very
Hmm.
likable. I did
They did.
but I do want them to take more risk at killing characters off. And not, I don't mean like side characters. Like, of course, there was a bunch of side characters that died, but it took forever until like basically the final episode to have any sense of danger to any of the characters. So I want them to take more risks at, you know, maybe killing off a kid or so. Um,
Oh my goodness. Evil.
chop a
Evil.
kid's
I'm
head
just kidding.
off. Um,
Yeah,
but
just kill like 10 of them. No
yeah,
biggie. No,
I
I'm just kidding.
mean, so
I, I will say my one of my favorite scenes, and I'm not gonna do any spoilers, is the scene in the police station.
oh
V-
yes. Very
Very
similar
good.
to the first Terminator, and you kind of
Yeah.
heard some of the similar like soundtrack while that was going on as well.
Oh, dude, that was so I was like, wow, this was really well done.
Yeah.
So if you get to watch it, I think it's probably what, episode 4?
Yes.
I want to say it's episode 4, which wasn't the best, but that scene was really good.
It had well, like
Um,
yeah, but it had the best sequence out of the whole entire show.
correct. I think
Yeah.
so as well. So,
I'm really looking forward to see more of the Future War stuff. I'm curious to see if they will tie it
mhm.
in with the Sarah with like Sarah Connor or John Connor, because without getting into spoilers, we don't know if John Connor or Sarah Connor are in this timeline.
Correct. I mean, we would assume they could potentially be, but no, I agree. So,
Yeah.
but
That could be interesting. And that's how you can do your Arnold and bringing back Arnold or bringing back what's her name that plays Sarah Connor? Why am I blanking her name?
oh, it's gonna first.
I don't know. You can even bring back her so then she doesn't have to be in a wheelchair for the ninth Terminator movie. She can just sit in a studio and voice act the character. And that would be like a way to continue on like, James Cameron's sequel in some form. And
I
like,
mean, it's not a bad idea.
no, it's not a bad idea. But yeah. Anyway, guys, let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below of Terminator Zero. Are you wanting a season two for it? Also, go check out our commentary series that I did with Sean O'Rourke on the channel. It'll be like the first playlist on the playlist section. So go check that out. And let's move on to this next topic.
Very
Oh
excited.
boy, I'm gonna get hate for this one.
Oh gosh. Oh,
James Gunn shows the first image of Krypto for the upcoming Superman movie. I am looking forward to the Superman movie. Screw any of you who's just hating for the sake of hating. And I mean, like,
oh gosh. Here
see,
it comes.
the thing is, we don't know much about this movie. We haven't seen anything besides photos. So I will be spectacle when I start seeing things, but everything I've been seeing so far, I've been really liking. I like the cast members. I like the suit. I like Superman's suit, and I like the idea of Krypto being in it. But I hope they don't go too far with Krypto, too cartoony of Krypto. And I like the idea of James Gunn taking his real life dog and making that his version of Krypto, which I find that very interesting and actually kind of nice and cute. Um, but there's this ever since James Gunn has taken over DC, there's just been this constant hate of like, oh, James Gunn doesn't know how to do serious. He's too goofy. He's not gonna do it right. You not understand how goofy the DC comics are really are? Hell, there is literally a character called Polka Dot Man, and that we get to see in live action.
Yeah.
There's so like, and that's what James Gunn is bringing back to the DCU. The DC universe is, the light side of it. Not everything's
Yeah.
so dark and gritty and like, you know, death like Zack Snyder's universe. That's why I never really got into Zack Snyder's universe, because even though I did like certain things about it, it was just always mopey and sad, and it's just there was not really that much fun to it. And they also sped up the process a little bit too fast, not giving enough time to these superheroes for their solos to get to the Justice League. And that's the only thing I'm kind of a little bit worried about, is that they're having a little bit too many superheroes in this movie. I'm just hoping that there's enough screen time for Superman, and these superheroes are just like, they happen to be there just to show like, hey, superheroes have been around for a while. I'm here to help out for a second. All right, peace out. All right, I'm gone. And
That's how you would see it. So here's the thing. The picture that they released is horrible. It really is.
I mean, it's
The
not from the
dog,
movie. It's a green screen. And I don't really care that much about it.
yeah, but it's a first look at the dog and it looks like it's CI generated. It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine for what it is. I'm waiting to see like what he looks like fully in the trailers and like fully in the movie. That's kind of where I'll start getting a little bit more nitpicky. But I like the idea of Crypto being a almost like like a home shelter dog type of deal, because that could be interesting.
Yeah, that
Just
is.
see what they do with it. At least, you kind of make a more like an interesting complaint than someone constantly saying like, "Oh, Nathan Foley can't, Nolan Nathan can't play a 20-year-old." It's like, clearly fucking Nathan Nolan isn't gonna be a 20-year-old. He's gonna play
No.
the character at his age. I don't know why people make those dumb complaints. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, a lot of people when they say that, I'm like, what makes you think that that's going to be like what they stay with? It doesn't make sense to me. It's like a moot point almost. Yeah, it's very weird. I always find that argument very strange.
Yeah.
So, but
NX hashtag restore Snyderverse. It's like, clearly, like, we're clearly past that point. You guys didn't even go support the current DC stuff that were coming
I
out
was
that
gonna
were
say,
in that universe. Yeah, it wasn't directed by Zack Snyder. He wouldn't be able to direct every single freaking movie in the first place, anyways. So you weren't you
yeah,
weren't you weren't even going to go support those movies, and you think now this is the time to be like, more bring back Zack Snyder. You didn't even to even throw more of these people under the bus, because I like doing this, because it's a stupid freaking argument. I'm putting this shit to bed. you guys didn't even go
You're letting them
support
know.
Black Adam that had Henry Cavill as Superman, that you were begging for Henry Cavill to come back.
Yeah,
If
that was a bad movie. That
it
was
was not,
terrible.
that was a bad movie. And if Black Adam made $800, $800 million at the box office that they were hoping for, then you would have your Man of Steel too. But you didn't even go support that.
Y- I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not surprised that it wasn't supported. Let's just be real. So,
Yeah.
let's just be honest. It
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be supported.
I mean, like if the Superman movie comes out to be crap, I would say it's crap. You guys know I'm completely honest about my thoughts, and yet I get hate when I am honest about my thoughts. But
I mean,
I will also tell you
it
to just shut up and wait.
it makes sense though. Like I understand people get like very like peculiar about their movies. So especially when it's something that they feel like is really good. Um, most of the time, like, did we watch the same movie?
Yeah.
Like,
I got
did we?
hate for not liking piece by piece, which is something I was really looking forward to because I like the idea of a biopic in Lego form. But yet I went in watching a documentary, not a biopic. And the
Yeah,
documentary itself was not even that interesting. And yeah, it failed on,
I,
it wasn't even entertaining as a Lego movie either. It was just
yeah, I wasn't that excited for it. I also just am not interested in what's his face. So,
uh Williams or whatever his name is.
oh, Pharrell.
Pharrell
Yeah,
Williams, yeah. And next, I also got hate for not liking uh The Edge of Sleep, which had a YouTuber in it that I was also a big fan of. I'm still a big fan of that YouTuber. I just didn't like the show, and it's not like it's his fault. He acted in it. He didn't write it. Um,
yeah. I always find that interesting when people are so like, I can't believe you didn't like my favorite movie. It's like, well, not all of us have to have the same favorite movie or the same taste.
the world would be
Um,
less interesting if everyone liked everything.
oh gosh, you know how boring that would be? Oh, that would be
I
brutal.
would just go hang out on Mars by myself. That would be more fun. Um, Maybe Matt Damon was onto something being left behind on
Oh my
Mars.
goodness. Oh, not
But
Matt
yeah.
Damon.
But anyway, yeah, let us know your guys' thoughts on crypto. Like, do you like, let me rephrase my question. Do you like the idea of crypto being in live action? Let us know there. That's a more
That's a good
simple.
one. I
Yeah.
think that's a better. And I'm just curious to know if people, once we get more information, I'm curious to know if people like how the dog looks and everything. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Uh,
that's a fair ask.
ooh, now we're getting into the gritty needy of the topics. Now the sugar is starting to kick in.
Oh gosh.
Um,
Oh goodness.
I've been drinking Mountain Dew Purple Thunder throughout this whole entire thing. It's actually not bad, but now I'm a
I've been
little,
pulling up, I've been going through all the different things because I was curious. We were going to get to this topic and I was excited. And
well,
yeah.
luckily,
All right.
see this one happened same, both of these are technically two different topics that happened over the month, but luckily there's a news article that talked about it all in one, making it just one topic. Um, you can take this one over since I've been
No,
talking.
you're good. No, so this actually just came out a few days ago. So Marvel Studios Blade was removed from the 2025 release schedule, and instead they did Predator Badlands in that kind of similar time frame instead.
Yeah,
So it's interesting because when you look at it, one, I don't know how these two play with each other. I don't know if Disney is worried that one is going to take away. You know how sometimes like they won't release competing movies?
like in their same like studios.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't feel like people would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go see Badlands instead of."
Blade. I think Blade would make more money than Predator.
I think so too. However,
But Blade is
part of
not
me,
done because if you didn't read, Blade lost another writer again and again and again
I think
and
for
again.
me, the reason that I don't think they're gonna push the Marvel movie is one because remember how they were retooling and rekeying Marvel and Star Wars and how they were doing a
Quality
release
over
schedule.
quantity.
Yeah, I think that this really just really set up. Well, one, they had two directors leave, so that was probably a big thing too.
Oh, was it the directors, not the
But
writers? Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah,
it was
but
the writers.
for me, it's like, what does that look like? Because originally it
What
was like
was
2022. It was way off.
no
I mean, we're
the original release date was this year.
oh, was it? I
Yeah,
thought they had stated that they wanted it earlier.
no,
See, and that's it.
it was this year.
And that's the thing. It's like, don't release it if it's not ready. I'm glad they're doing that.
Or was
I'm
it
glad
last year?
Disney's
It was 2023 or 2024. I can't.
whoever it was. I'm glad
Yeah.
they didn't just release it because that just
Well,
doesn't make
they
sense to
don't
me.
have anything to release. That's the problem, though. There's nothing filmed, and I hate to say this, but we're not going to see Mahershala Ali as Blade. He's 50 now. He's not going to play Blade,
Well, and here's the thing.
but he's
I
going to
think it
play in
would.
Jurassic World before.
I think it's okay because for me in particular, um, why would you like? He did a really good job in the other film, so let's just leave that as is,
Wait,
right?
what? Wait, what?
Like, well, he's 50, or
Yeah,
how I don't even know how old he is,
he's
but
50.
let's leave it in the past because he was good in those movies, and I'm okay with him.
Well, what movies? Are you talking about his just movies that he worked on in general, or are you talking about Marvel films? Because he hasn't been in any Marvel films.
That's what I'm saying. Let's leave him be in the films that he was good at, and
Oh.
let's not reboot. I hate when they do reboots
Oh,
or
you're talking
like
about
change it.
Wesley. You're talking about Wesley Snipe as Blade, not Mahershala Ali. Okay,
Yes,
I was a little.
exactly. Sorry, because I was under the understanding. Sorry, I thought you meant okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. To me, that seems like it's like let's not reboot characters from the past and let's give somebody else an opportunity. Like I
Well,
said,
it's a different actor. Mahershala Ali is not Wesley Snipe.
yes, no. I'm saying like for any Marvel project moving
Okay.
forward, like good example. Let's say we were going to take even some X-Men characters. Some of the people who played in the original X-Men stuff 20 years ago, I would not put into any of the new X-Men stuff
No, because they're
now.
two different tones.
Correct. So what you do is if you're building a new character, building a new story, building a new anything, you can like maybe throw in some nostalgia from some of the previous projects, but don't keep the same. And I think that's what a lot of people come in thinking is like perfect example, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. People come in and they expect Jurassic World to be the carbon copy remake of Jurassic Park. And it's
Yeah.
like you just can't like yeah, you can put in some of the old characters, which is what they tried to do with that last film, and it was not good. And you're like, now you ruined like the nostalgia of the characters I really liked
No,
25 plus years
no, they
ago.
did not. The movie's good. Shut up.
Ah, yes, it's
Uh,
very good.
yeah.
But you know what I'm trying to say though. It's just like, please don't do this to me. So we're gonna let it be where it is.
Well,
So
see, the thing is, there's no point of releasing a movie when you don't have a movie. And also, what the hell has been going on in that writing room? Like, writer's room? Like, what are they not getting right? Like, I don't know. Because this has been the most baffling thing from a Marvel's project I've ever seen. Like, they've never had this big of an issue, besides the one time for the first Ant-Man. You remember back in when they were working on
yeah,
Ant-Man, there was two different. Uh, there's there was supposed to be a different, completely different movie, but then Kevin Feige came in and say like, "Hey, the narrative of the MCU has changed. This movie is not going to work as it is anymore. You need to change it." And the director's like, "Nope, I'm out because it's not the movie that he wants to make anymore."
correct.
So
Which
that
I
might
can
be the same thing
respect.
here, but 5 years after your announcement, like what's going on then? Like so.
Well, and that's the thing, is it's like what what transpired to make people go, oh yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in doing this.
Yeah.
And and like I said, I respect if it's just not if it is not your
Story anymore.
desire to
Yeah.
do that, I respect that. And I think that's okay moving forward. So,
Well, that's going to contradict the next topic, but speaking of I guess the
oh yeah.
blade part, I'm kind of I didn't know about this movie. This movie actually flew under my radar. I did not know that. I knew that they wanted to do a Prey sequel, but I did not know they were doing another Predator spinoff type of deal. So I forget the actor's name that is supposed to be the star in this one. Who is that actor that they're?
Here, let me see. I'm gonna pull it up. I was looking it up in the background because I was curious too. Uh, let's see. Blade. Oh, the new one.
But I'm curious what to see what timeline it's going to take place in and what they do with this one. I don't know if is it the Prey director that's working on this one, or is it just a completely new director? Ellie Fanning is the actor's name, who's been
Elle
in
Fanning. For
who's
which
been
one?
in Maleficent, The Great, Super 8. Let me see what else she's been in. I know Maleficent, so I've seen her in that. I've heard good things about The Great. Um, oh, she was in a Matt Damon movie called We Bought a Zoo. I think she was the daughter in that. She was
Yeah,
like one
I
of the
do
daughters
remember
in
that
that.
movie. It's a
Um,
good movie.
yeah, I actually really like that movie. Good.
I do too. I think it's a good, that's one of the last movies I remember that I saw Matt Damon in that I was like, oh yeah, I really like that movie.
Really not
Um,
The Martian?
ever since I said one of, I didn't
Oh,
say all of them. I just
not
said one of.
not Jason Bourne, the fifth one.
Oh my gosh. No, that movie was not that good. I'm sorry. It just,
It was not that bad. It's better than the
no, but it wasn't good.
no, but okay. But I'm curious to see what she does in it. I'm curious to see what they take and what that whole premise of that film is going to be. Because like, the Prey had an interesting premise where it was taking place back in like the 1800s. No, not even 1800s. Was it before the 1800s?
Whatever it was, it definitely
It just
very interesting.
it made the Predator scary again when the humans had literally no technology, and the Predator had much more advanced technology that was less advanced than what it had in the first movie. And so that was I really like that aspect. I'm hoping that they bring that in that one in here again, and they
Correct. And they
bring
killed
back
the
a
guy. They killed the guy that was shooting him with the bow and arrow.
oh
R.I.P. bow and arrow guy. The
yeah.
brother or whatever.
I hope they kill more guys in this movie and just have it just be a standalone female lead
Oh
film
my
again.
goodness. I thought it was a great how they did that was really well done. So
I
I was
mean, hey,
impressed.
I'm curious to see what they do with it. I'm curious to hear more about it. I'm waiting for a trailer. Because I just didn't know about it. I'm curious to see if it's even better than Prey. That's gonna be hard to beat because Prey is really good. And I own
Yeah.
that on 4K. See, Hulu can see Netflix if Hulu can release original
Oh my goodness.
physical releases, so can you. So can you, Netflix. You
Don't release
greedy
physical. Delete
bastards.
physical copies.
Um,
Delete physical copies. Just kidding.
but do you want to do this next one?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about this one, so this is gonna be a good one. So, this is interesting and it's rich who it's coming from. So Harrison Ford recently said in an interview um, that, well, basically, it's advice for any silly actor who is actively avoiding Marvel roles. Um, he quote said, "We're silly if we sit around regretting the change and don't participate." He said, "I'm participating in a new part of the business that, for me at least, I think is really producing some good experiences for an audience. I enjoy that." Um, this is rich coming from somebody who literally hated his Star Wars character and
Yeah,
wanted them to kill him off.
yeah.
I was like,
That's a little
it,
different. He doesn't like his character,
I
but
I
that could be
mean,
said to someone that doesn't like doing superhero films either. So
correct. So
yeah.
it's interesting. Basically, he's saying, "Shut up and take a paycheck," is
Well, I mean, he
what
did
I'm
that for
reading.
Star Wars too. He did shut up. Like, all right, he did.
Yeah,
There was I forget if it was on Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, where he got asked a question. So like, so how was it being back on Star Wars playing as Harrison Ford? He goes like, I got paid, something on those lines. And I was like, that's funny. He's just like, yeah, I did it for a paycheck. Sue me. And so.
Yeah, but the thing that I have a problem with is it's like this is what people do anyway. He's like making it seem like it was like people are like, oh, I can't be on the new Marvel movie,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know, for
I think he's more not really attacking. He's probably more criticizing like, Scorsese or like Tarantino who
yeah,
despise Marvel
but they're
films.
old. They're old, and he's old too. So for me,
I mean,
it's like a bunch of old people yelling at old people not to
get
do.
off my
It's
lawn.
so.
It's like,
I'm
yeah,
gonna land on the wrong. I'm gonna land on the taxiway again. You know,
yeah.
Harrison Ford landing his airplane. So I don't know. I For me, it's like I get it, but I also am thinking like, why are you just collecting a paycheck? Because the last Indiana Jones was not great, and they're gonna have to CGI him here so much that
Well, see, the thing is, he got paid. So he doesn't
yeah,
care if
I
the movie's
know.
good or not. He got paid.
It's a shame. It really is. Because there's a few. I understand why people do it. I just it was not good. There's a lot of movies where I'm like, they pay that person,
Did,
$30 million to do that. I'll
and
do it for five.
yeah,
You know,
and it's like even that, it's like you're asking like the action. It's like, did you read the script before signing on? Did you read at all at it? It's like, do you not understand the reputation that you will be destroying here? Because I mean, like, yeah, a project can ruin your reputation. Like, if you put out a movie about, I don't know, modern day
anything.
slavery, like that could ruin your reputation and be just being part of it. Actually, you know what? That could be interesting. Actually, I probably should
Well,
have
I
said.
mean,
Um,
well, I mean, like I said, if you're looking at it from the lens of a historical perspective, it's not a bad idea. But a lot of these people are like, yeah, we're definitely like making leeway on this movie. And I'm like, that's not good. Like, what is happening? So,
yeah,
no,
I
I
don't know.
definitely not a fan of that. So I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is.
So,
So,
yeah, let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below on
yeah.
Harrison Ford's comment. Do you think it's silly for actors to be like, I'm too cool for Marvel. I'm too cool for superhero films. Or do you um disagree with Harrison Ford's statement? I don't know. I could care less who's in what as long as they
It's
do
too
it good.
silly not to get paid, is what I would say.
Well, I
So,
think that's what he's saying. It's like it's too silly to not take a paycheck. But yeah, let us know in the comment section below. This, I think we've talked about this one in the past before as like a rumor possibly. I forget. It's been like, what is it? This October, so we've done 10 episodes already this year. So we've talked about a lot of stuff. But Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds may host the Oscars, and this is coming from Deadline, who are listing off a bunch of people who are possibly going to be hosting the Oscars. But Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are also part of that list. That's the ones we're going to talk about because that's the ones I'm most interested in. I don't even remember who else was mentioned in that list. I think, well, I like Hugh Jackman. I like Ryan Reynolds. I think this would be an amazing idea. The problem is the Oscars are such a wild card to host that you would get a lot of people attacking you just for no reason to and pulling up like a lot of dirty stuff from your past to just ruin your reputation for no reason. And
yeah,
so,
that seems to be a consistent theme.
yeah.
They approached Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler, and Dwayne
Oh yes,
Johnson.
Will
Oh,
Ferrell.
am I the only person that's like, why would Dwayne the Rock Johnson do it? Maybe I'm like
I don't think
mean.
he doesn't have the charisma to host something like that, at least for that long. Unless he was just part of like a hosting part. Because like, there I believe in
Yeah,
this article they also mentioned where like they're gonna break it up into pieces where there'll be different, like multiple different hosts. Maybe that would work for like someone like Dwayne Johnson if he was just hosting like a segment of it, but not like the whole entire thing. But Ryan Reynolds and
yeah.
Hugh Jackman as like a whole like duo throughout the whole entire Oscars, I think that would be awesome. I mean, Hugh Jackman already did host Oscars back. When did he? It was like 2013. It's
I'd
been a
have to go
bit.
look.
He did like
Here's the thing.
he did a whole bit with that hosting the Oscars that year, and that was very interesting and very funny.
Let's see. I'd have to go back and look, but It can't be worse than Amy Schumer. I do not find her funny at all. She's
Is
not
wait,
good.
she's on that list?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
they did it. They did it in 2022. It was Amy Schumer and Wanda Sykes. It was not
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah.
So the
Um,
yeah, not good. Not my thing. So
I mean,
um
but so I mean, like, it would be interesting to see, especially coming off uh the hot train of, like, Deadpool and Wolverine. I know that Marvel's trying to really push like best picture, best something for Deadpool and Wolverine, and Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds being in it, like being nominated for something.
yeah.
That's not gonna happen. Deadpool Wolverine's not gonna be nominated for anything. Maybe soundtrack, but I can probably name like five other better soundtracks already this year than that movie. Even though I really like Deadpool Wolverine, don't get me wrong, love the movie. Thought it was funny,
Yeah.
hilarious, and
Did you
has
see did you see that Jimmy Kimmel doesn't want to do it because he said he didn't get paid enough?
well, yeah, but
I was
and
like, hmm.
you can do it, so you can only do it so many times before you got sick of it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And
So, but
he's been like, see, the main host. Like, was that like his eighth time of hosting the Oscars?
maybe not eighth time, but yeah, he's definitely hosted quite a bit. So,
So get Jimmy
that's fine.
Fallon or something.
We'll get somebody else. So, but
Jimmy
no,
Duo.
you'll have to let us know who your dream in the comments
Us.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
We will.
let me
Hey,
me.
Oscars, you can literally have us do it for free. You don't have to pay anyone. We'll do it for free.
I wouldn't even pay them to do it. I'd be so worried that I'd mess it up. It can't be worse than getting whacked by Will Smith. So I guess that's kind of just
Well,
kidding.
he's a good thing he's banned for like the next 10 years. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I don't know why that was such a big the whole thing is like, what is happening? So
Well,
um it's just so
his relationship with his wife is all weird, and I don't. That's their problem. They say they're happy, I guess. Denial and denial. Like how Trump says, never accept defeat. Always, um, what's his quote? I watched The Apprentice a couple of days ago. There's a quote in his thing that he said in that. I'm not saying I'm a Trump fanatic. Jeez, I'm already gonna get hate for that. Moving on, awkward. All right, Spider-Man 4 starts filming 2025, but this came out today that Spider-Man 4 is also getting released between Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. And it's coming out, I believe, sometime July of 2026. Or
which
like
is
2 months.
normal. They always have great ones.
Yeah.
So a few things first. Love Tom Holland. He had a new haircut for one of the plays that he was in. It is horrible. My
Oh,
goodness.
the gladiator haircut.
Yeah,
It,
whatever the haircut is,
he's
it is not.
it looks fine, not the worst. Maybe he just had
It
a
just
bad hair day.
it's not him. But I will say, who cares? Bro is awesome. So I'm very excited because when you think about this, he took a break. He's been investing in his
Didn't he create like a
non-alcoholic beer.
coffee like company or something? What was the thing I
No,
saw?
it's a non-alcoholic beer
Oh, okay.
or something, which is good for him because he's talked about having issues with
Quitting.
alcoholism. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like kudos to him.
And he's
He's
getting
been
married to Zendaya. He has a wedding planning going on as well. He's a busy man at the moment. I don't know
yeah.
how he's
So
gonna have time for Spider-Man and Uncharted and the next topic after this, but
he's Spider-Man. He can do whatever he wants.
it's
So
true. Literally.
bro
You know,
can be in like 18
he
places.
he was having an interview, I believe it was like, the hot chicken wings like interview. I think that was like where like actors or celebrities will come on and eat hot chicken wings, or hot foods. He was saying, like, I saw an interview saying he has like a lot of power about the next Spider-Man movie being even done, and saying
Hmm.
that he doesn't want to abuse that power either. And so he basically has the key to the next Spider-Man movie. He can literally just say like, "Nah, I don't want to do it anymore," and that whole entire movie will be just done. Unless he's in contract, then he can't say no. But um but he has a lot of
Yeah,
power for the next Spider-Man movie, really. And he is has a lot of environment. He has a lot of input for the next one too that will be seen in the next Spider-Man film because he's
which good for him. I'm like I said, I'm very excited for him. He's going to do a lot of good stuff, and I think it's really interesting. And can I pair it with the next topic together just because we're already
well,
talking about him?
I guess like before we move on to the next topic, well, let's talk about so since it is coming out between Avengers Doomsday and
Hmm.
Secret War, what's the ideal story that we're going to be seeing here? Is it going to be in the events after Doomsday, or is it going to be like an Ant-Man as a Wasp situation where we will see the events where the movie's taking it comes out after Doomsday, but it's actually taking place before Doomsday, and next the events like in that movie where like Thanos snap happens at the end of that movie. Will we see that at
So
the end of this movie, or because I would assume that Tom Holland would be in Doomsday.
so nobody remembers the right. They're not going to remember him. So a big portion of this movie, I think, will be Spider-Man reclaiming or rebuilding those relationships because he's not. They don't remember him, right? So I'm definitely interested to see what that looks like for him moving forward. Um, as to how it fits in the universe, especially since it's so multiverse. Uh, who knows? Genuinely,
Yeah, I don't want the next Spider-Man 4 movie to be like, oh well, Avengers Doomsday happened. Everything that happened in No Way Home doesn't matter.
yeah,
Like I want to see Tom Holland Spider-Man be on his own for once and like, get like more
sure,
of a grounded type of Spider-Man type of film
sure.
than just him fighting like the next galactic threat. And it's like we've seen that and it's like that was cool. That was actually very different from the previous trilogies that or trilogy and a half. Because Andrew Garfield only had two films. And
Trilogy now.
so that was different. Now I want to see this version of Tom Holland who got stripped away all that ability and all that, not really knowledge, but any form of connection to anyone to be literally like probably the loneliness man, loneliness, English, probably being like the most loneless man on the planet because literally no one knows who he is. And so like that would be like an interesting thing to see, I would say.
I think how they tackle it will be very interesting. However they do it, I think that it's going to be a great. I think Tom Holland's going to do a good job because he really fits that role super well.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm curious to see how him and Zendaya kind of,
See,
especially at the end
I
of the
kind of
last
wish
movie.
that she's not going to be in it. Like, I wish that they would just like move on from MJ. Not because I don't like her. Honestly, I don't really care about the relationship, to be honest. Their relationship is kind of weak.
No way.
But like, I get, but the problem is now that they're dating and also engaged and gonna get married. So it's kind of gonna be hard to do a movie without Zendaya and Tom Holland together at that point. It's like, wait, you don't want to be in my movie? You don't want me to be in your movie anymore? It's like, no, no, no. It's just for story purposes. I think it's time for Peter to move on, type of deal. It's just gonna
No,
cause more
don't move
spark.
on.
It's gonna cause like drama in the relationship, and
Oh my
so
goodness.
maybe
Or
this.
just or just leave it because it'll be good to see how they do it. So
Oh, I just
I'm
don't want to see
excited.
them. It would be a backward step in my opinion. I think it would just be going backwards in storytelling instead of moving forward.
It'll be
And
good.
so yeah, that's what people said about Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, and yet
I
you
don't think
only
it was terrible. I just don't think it was great. I think that's the discernible difference is was it great or was it okay? So, but
neither they were terrible. There
but
you go.
I want to talk about this one though. This one's
Okay,
gonna be
but
good.
let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below about Spider-Man 4
Yep,
and
yep, yep, yep.
what they will do for the next film. So moving on.
Sweet. Okay, so this is very exciting. So Tom Holland's going to star in a Christopher Nolan film that
Hmm.
we don't really know anything about, but we know that Matt Damon apparently. This is from the Hollywood Reporter, is on the call sheet for the top secret feature that will open in 2026.
It's just been like a little Easter egg I've been dropping throughout the whole entire episode about Matt Damon,
I
uh,
mean, Matt Damon,
and Tom
Tom
Holland.
Holland, and Christopher Nolan is the director.
Yeah,
It is going to
but
be so good. Come on now.
the
It
one
just,
thing about this movie, I'm hoping that it's not like a Tenet situation where the movie just isn't the greatest. But like this would be the chance for Tom Holland to branch out finally and not be
yeah.
typecast all the time. And this would actually, I mean, like he actually tries to branch out, but the movies just have not been the greatest. I think the best thing that he put out outside of Spider-Man was that Netflix movie called I forget, it was like The Devil something, The Devil Walking or whatever. I forget what it's
Oh,
called.
yeah. I didn't
I
like it that
You
much,
didn't
but
like
that's
it?
just because it wasn't my
It was
ideal style.
yeah, it was pretty dark.
It's different. Yeah.
Uh, I liked it for that aspect, and it's been a bit since I've watched it. Maybe I won't think the same way. I don't know if that got positive reception from when that came out. I don't remember, but I enjoyed it from what I remember. Um,
I'm glad
so
you liked it. That's good.
I mean, like this would be the true opportunity for him to actually branch out, is what practically what I'm trying to get at. And Christopher Nolan is a great director, and it's interesting to see Christopher Nolan actually being interested in Tom Holland. And now it's like, okay, what does he actually have in store that Tom Holland will be part of? And there's so the one thing about Christopher Nolan, he doesn't like doing the same type of movies back to back. So it's like someone brought up an interesting point when he was doing the Batman trilogy, his Dark Knight trilogy, he would not do a back to back Batman like release. He would do like the Batman
Mm,
Begins and Intercept and not Interstellar, but Inception and next Dark Knight and next whatever that was
I'm
between that.
curious to look at this now.
And so since the last thing was since the last thing was almost like a historical biopic, now it's like, okay, what are we gonna do next? Like, what's the next big thing? And even the article brings it up. It's like, so Christopher Nolan's made it clear that it's not gonna be present day. So they're like, it's gonna be in the future or in the past. And it's like,
So,
well, no shit, it's gonna be in the future or past if he's gonna say it's not in the present day. So I think it's gonna take I think the possibility it could be, and this is one of the rumors that I saw, is that it's going to be a vampire type of film. Would
oh,
be
interesting. I
That
didn't
could be
even
interesting.
realize. So he did following Memento. Memento is a very fascinating film.
Hmm.
Um, Insomnia, Batman Begins. Then he did The Prestige. Then he did The Dark Knight. Then he did Inception.
Okay,
Then he did The
that's what.
Dark Knight Rises. Man of Steel, he wasn't director, but then he did Interstellar,
No, he used the
Dunkirk, Tenet.
screenplay on it though.
Yeah, and then Oppenheimer.
See,
So
people, Zack Snyder isn't your savior. It's actually Christopher Nolan for the Man of Steel. Screw you, Zack Snyder.
yeah, he did the story.
Yeah,
So interesting. I have yeah, he's got some incredible movies, you know, under his wings. So
yeah. And like mostly every single movie has been great from him. Besides the one that came from mine, the only one I've seen recently was Tenet. That was not the greatest from him. Even I liked Oppenheimer, but I think that movie's overrated for what that movie was doing.
yeah, but I mean, the fact that he'll have Matt Damon and Tom Holland in a movie, I think those two actors in a movie of that caliber with Christopher Nolan, I love how he'll use because usually Christopher Nolan does more darker, dramatic things. It'll be interesting to see Tom Holland in a movie that's like that,
Yeah.
or that continues to really build off of that.
And
I
that's what
think
or
Tom
like what
Holland,
he does too.
yeah, I think he's going to bring out a really great. He's going to bring out a really great manifestation of that type of character in Tom Holland. It's going to be good.
You
I
find out it's the
I already
next
know that it's going to be good.
you find out it's the next Jason Bourne movie.
Holy crap! It's Jason Bourne. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Christopher Nolan Jason Bourne movie could be interesting. I don't he's that's not going to what he's going to be doing, but that
With
movie would look amazing.
and then just throw Spider-Man in there. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
But
crossover.
yeah, no, it'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see. I'm
And
excited.
it's coming out in 2026. So that's good. That's going to be a big year because in 2026, well, this we're going to talk about this one later, but 2026 is supposed to be What's the director's name that did Dune? Why am I blanking his name? Fauda, the guy that did Dune. He's supposed to have a movie coming out. It's not going to be Dune Part 3. It's going to be a different movie. Because
Wait,
was it David
Villanueva?
that did Dune? The
Yeah,
direct.
Dennis Villanueva.
Yes.
I can never say
Yes.
his name correctly. I always feel
Um,
bad.
he um he has a movie coming out in 2026 that isn't going to be Dune, but he has
Mhm.
confirmed that he is going to be doing Dune Messiah that is going to start filming 2026, and that's going to come out po
Which
possibly 2027.
which I think is going to be excellent. It's going to be good.
Yeah,
The some of the stuff that they've been releasing, I'm like, this actually seems like it'll be a pretty dang solid.
yeah.
So,
And supposedly the Ray Star Wars movie is supposed to come out in 2026.
oh gosh.
You're also gonna have like the Harry Potter series is gonna be starting coming out that year as well. So that is gonna be a packed year when it comes to any form of filmmaking. That
Well,
is
it's just going to be, especially for so many different types of so many franchises. I mean that's
Toy
going to
Story
be a lot of
5.
content.
That's a if
Toy
anything we're
Story
talking
5.
or if we're talking about like, franchises, that's gonna be a big year for animations.
Oh
Like
yeah. Well, it's just going to be a big year for franchises in general.
yeah, people
Um,
are like people think like, oh, 2024, no movies came out. You have not seen what's coming in our what's coming out next year and next in 2026.
Agreed.
Like the movie theater business is going to thrive for the next 2 years, and those people that don't like working at movie theaters are going to not like it even more. So,
Yeah.
um,
No,
but
not. I think it'll be good. No, just kidding. But no, I'm very excited. So I'm
yeah,
curious to hear what everybody thinks. Drop some ideas of what you think the movie's even going to be about. I want to hear like knowing actors that are in it with Christopher Nolan. What's the topic going to be?
Christopher
I'm
Nolan, if you're
curious.
watching this, give us an exclusive detail on your film.
Yes,
Yeah.
let me call him. We're besties, in case you
Yes.
didn't know.
Oh,
So
sick. Yes. So let us know in the comment section below. Moving on to the next topic. This is something I've been really excited for. Dune Prophecy, and I've been looking every single day for the past like 2 months. Like, when's the trailer? When are we getting this release date that's supposed to be November? And we finally got it this month. So the trailer for this movie, for the show looks amazing. It looks pretty much straight from the movies because it's supposed to also take place in the same universe
but
decades
we just
before.
want to say, I want to say it's because it's HBO. I
Yes.
guarantee you that's why it looks so solid. That's
Yeah.
just my thought process.
The
So,
Acolyte would have
but
been a lot better if it was an HBO show. Just saying.
I just think that would have been bad, regardless of who watched it or who
Oh,
made it.
well, see, the thing is, it would have been better because, you would actually have actual writers behind the pen knowing Star Wars. So,
That is very true. I don't disagree with you actually.
so I've been
So
really looking forward to this, and it's coming out. When's the release date for
November
this?
17th, I think.
November 17th. That is
Yep,
correct.
Sunday. It should be
Um,
good.
Yeah, and so I like how Max is doing it. What they do is they release it on HBO, like their channel, HBO, their live channel first, and next they drop it on Max. And so I find that very interesting, actually very smart. And I think Disney's going to
I do
start
too.
getting into that too because they just started their live channels on Disney Plus. And I think sooner or later they'll probably move to that segment as well, where
I
they'll
think it's
drop it.
better anyway
Well,
because
you
then it
make money
has
off the
everybody watching
ads.
together. Yeah,
Yeah.
and everybody's watching together at the same time. So then you don't have to worry about spoilers because everybody knows, oh, it's going to be at 8 p.m. on this day, and everybody's watching it at the same pace at the same time.
The
So
only
no,
the only
I
the
like
only
that.
the only thing that hurts is people that do commentaries. And so it's like, well, you either watch it with the ads and you add the ads out, or you wait until the full episode's out on the streaming services. It's just going back to cable. That is
I
all it
don't
really is.
I don't know anybody
So
who does commentary, so I'm just kidding.
you don't watch my
I'm
stuff.
kidding.
Guys, he's not even subscribed to the channel. That's how much
I
he
barely have YouTube. Everybody, whether it looks like it or not, I'm like not a have things type of person. So YouTube is and I are not best friends. Let's just say that.
Drop a
So,
like if he should get a YouTube channel.
oh goodness, how about if you guys get 50,000 likes on this video, I'll get a YouTube channel.
Oh, these videos only barely get 20 likes.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna say 50,000 and
Oh,
make it
okay.
go viral.
Well,
Let's go, everybody.
is there a time limit on this, or is this just
No,
like, oh, okay, just
no,
whenever?
no time limit,
Okay.
whatever. Yeah.
Like just like 20 years when you're on your deathbed, it's like, all right, fine, I'll make a
20
YouTube channel.
years. Oh my goodness, I hope I live longer than that. That would be terrible.
But yeah, so let us know your guys' thoughts on Dune Prophecy. I've been really looking forward to the show. I am gonna be I don't know if I'm gonna do episode reviews on it, but I will definitely be reviewing the show for sure. Um, I've been falling back on reading the Dune book. See, whenever I try to read something, I have interest in it and like on it, like in it, like immediately. But then if I don't stay like consistent with it, I just lose out on being trying to finish it. And so, but I need to go back and finish that book. So let us know your guys' thoughts on in the comment section below. You know, drum rolls, please, for the next topic of stupidity. Ray movie keeps losing writers. Yay. Fucking Lucasfilm, Kathleen
Oh my
Kennedy,
goodness.
you for one, just to put this right off the bat, no one asked for this movie. For one, no one wanted a Ray movie. No one likes the Ray character. I like Daisy
First off,
Ridley.
I wanted a Ray movie.
No, you didn't. Shut up, a
No, I
liar.
didn't. I know I'm
Uh,
lying.
but like I like Daisy Ridley, but then she came out like I don't know if this was this month or like a month ago, but she came out and said the most dumbest thing ever. Like it's like she was like practically saying like the same thing like the actor and director like showrunner was basically saying whenever
Oh,
some form of person didn't like something that they were in. Like she said something like, "Oh well, the fan base is majority of men, and men don't change." And it's like I'm like, why would you say something like that? That doesn't make any freaking sense. It's dumb. It made no freak.
let's see.
I guarantee you probably can find the quote. Just say like Daisy Ridley says something about men Star Wars fan base. You probably find the full on quote from her. It
Let's see.
just I don't know why actors come out and say stuff like this. It doesn't make any sense. You didn't see Scarlett Johansson come out and say garbage stuff like this when people hate her Black Widow movie.
Oh, yeah. Because it doesn't really concern me. I can't change the way some men see women. Unfortunately, that's how society works. I, I just thought everybody hated those films. But all the characters, Oscar Isaac's character was horribly written.
Terrible.
Finn was horribly
They
written.
ruined Finn, who was one of the most coolest characters out of that whole entire trilogy. The only person that didn't get any hate was Kyle Ren, was Adam Driver. He's the only one that actually thrived after the Star Wars trilogy. And so mostly because he's the only one that actually has a cohesive storytelling. It I just don't get it. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm not certain. Ray, or Daisy, Ray. Oh my goodness, I'm talking to the
right.
character. Daisy, I'm sorry if people don't like your character.
It's
In
not
fairness,
you didn't write the character either.
yeah, I mean,
Guess who also wrote the character? A man.
yeah, that was bad writing, and it's
Yeah.
sad because Daisy Ridley is actually a very talented actress. So
Yeah,
the
she's
fact that
had good roles.
we have to suffer through that horrible writing, it's not that people didn't like female characters. Let me tell you, Padme's well written, Princess Leia's well written,
She wasn't
Jyn
saying this.
Erso is well written,
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano is well written. There's characters that are so much better and well written, and hers is bad.
But you know
It
what?
just is.
She she wasn't also saying this when Force Awakens first came out either. Because guess what? People loved it. People loved that first movie.
I wouldn't say loved it. I would just say it
It
was
was
nostalgic and riding the wave.
it was
Yeah.
positive receive. But you don't hear her saying that because it goes against every person's argument whenever they say that. It's like, well, it doesn't make any sense. But whenever you put out something bad, it's easier to blame someone else than take up the ownership of like, oh, okay, yeah, it sucked. It
Well, I
wasn't.
mean, it definitely wasn't her fault, but yes, I
No,
totally agree.
but she should not go out and say stuff like that. And she should be saying like, well, we understand that not a lot of people like the Ray character, and we think this movie might redeem that for you. That's what you should be saying, not be like, well, because men are sexist. When I mean, like most likely she probably got in some threads over the years from people that were in the fan base, but you, I don't know how many times I got to keep on saying this, and it's a small majority of the fan base, barely to a percent of a fan base. It's just
Yeah.
like, but to point that out to as the whole fan base is ridiculous and stupid. But we're
Well, I
kind
mean,
of
she said some. I
oh
think the problem for me is that I don't think it's whether the character is a man or a woman. If you ruin a character with bad writing, I mean, you have to remember people
people ru-
hated Anakin.
yeah.
People
And next,
hated,
the Clone Wars show came out, and they love the character now. And guess what?
yeah,
People hate Ryan Johnson's version of Luke Skywalker. And
yeah,
guess
because
what?
it's a
He's a
bad character.
man. You don't see him saying like, "Oh, women are sexist to men." It's so
Well,
even though
yeah,
well, he mostly agreed with that he didn't
well,
like.
and some people will despise it because it's a woman character just because they're stupid. But I would not go out to say that it's a vast majority of Star Wars fans. I think one that's just a weird comment to make. So
And it's not.
write
It's not.
better write better characters, and maybe like a good example is how many times did what's her face from Obi-Wan Riva get stabbed and survived, and then
Yeah.
like that's just bad writing. So people don't like that character because how it's written and the storyline behind the character is stupid.
And it
So
breaks and it just doesn't make any sense because she knows that Luke is the son of Anakin Skywalker, and Anakin Skywalker, she knows that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. It just doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it doesn't fit. It doesn't theme wise fit.
Yeah,
So
go
yeah,
just
I don't know. The whole thing is bizarre. So
saying stuff like that does not help this Ray movie, and that's probably the reason why you keep on losing writers and directors, because probably no one wants to make this movie anymore because they know what the big backlash that's going to come ahead to this movie, because the not because the director of this movie is I forget her name, but she's never made anything before besides a documentary. And the first thing that she has said when she was announced to be the director of the film is like, it's time for a woman to shape Star Wars. I'm like, you lost me immediately. It's like, what about Bryce Dallas Howard, who's also says dumb stuff as well now? I don't know why it.
well, Bryce Dallas Howard is very famous because her dad's famous. I don't
Yeah.
think she's anything special.
But she
Um,
does have talent. That's my point I'm trying to get, though. She does have
I don't think
talent. Her
I don't think
Mandalore,
comparative to some other women, she's not as talented. I
well,
mean, her
no,
dad
her
her dad is a
directing.
producer and director.
Guess what? The best two episodes in the Book of Boba Fett were her episodes, and
But that's
they
not
were.
surprising. That show was not that good.
Oh, you're just really throwing her down there. It's like, yeah, you were like at the
I mean,
bottom of that.
I mean, here's the thing. The hard part that I have is that standard wise, yes, were her two episodes the best directed? Absolutely, hands down. But when the bar was very low, that doesn't rationalize that she got to where she is because of pure talent. It's obviously there's a lot of I don't want to say nepotism, but there's a lot of famous Hollywood actors and actresses, men and women, that are only in their place because their parents are who they are.
Yeah.
So,
I and
uh,
like
very strange.
her whole argument about because like, I don't know if we talked about this last episode, but she got upset during the filming of the Jurassic World trilogy that Chris Pratt was getting paid more than her. The only difference is Chris Pratt was actually putting in the work and she wasn't, and she didn't want to lose the weight for the role. Um,
Which
and
is wrong. They shouldn't
yeah,
make her lose weight for a role. That's terrible.
no, no, well,
But I
no,
mean,
if it if it needs to fit the character is what I mean, not just to look sexy for the sake of looking sexy. Because that Bryce Dallas Howard is sexy
Did Chris
already.
Pratt have to lose weight for his role?
Yes, yes. For Guardians of the Galaxy and Jurassic World, he had to lose. He was
Okay,
he
yeah.
was a big dude. Like if you compare him to Parts and Recs and to Guardians of the Galaxy, he was a buff. He was like a outwards dude. I'm trying not to use the word fat. All right, use the word
Let's
fat.
see. Yeah, there
But
was a $2 million pay. So the pay gap between was larger than the reports indicated. She also said she was at a disadvantage when negotiating. Howard had spoken about the pay gender, so she made about $2 million less than he did.
but
But what was the
guess
screen time?
they probably had the same amount of screen time. I think he had a little bit more. But guess what? He was also coming off the heels of Guardians of the Galaxy, and he was very hot at the moment. So it makes sense to pay the guy who is not only willing to actually put in the work to be fit, he was also one of the most wanted guys to be worked with at at the moment of all time. So it's like, of course, he's going to get paid more.
Yeah,
He
I mean, yeah.
and like like in what's the actress name that wanted to play that played MJ in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and her getting all
Oh,
upset about
Kirsten Dunst.
yeah, about her getting all upset about Tobey Maguire being paid more than her. It's like Tobey Maguire is literally the main star. He is literally played the
Yeah,
name of the
it's
character. It just
Spider-Man.
doesn't make
Well,
any
and
sense.
here's the thing. Sometimes it is like that where they just don't get paid.
Well,
It's not fair.
but
But I mean,
that's not how Hollywood works. Hollywood works isn't like, you going to work down at Circle K. You're not going to get paid the
sure.
same amount as that other person that's been working there.
Well, and if they want more money, they should probably get their agents to get them more
Yeah,
money. You know what I mean?
it's not what you it's not what you think you should be paid. It's what you bargain to be paid. Is the way is that the
Hmm.
way to say it? I don't it's what
Well, I mean,
it's
look
what
at
you bargain
look at
for up
how
front,
much
not
look at
after.
how much Robert Downey Jr. gets paid. That dude makes a boatload of money, more
That's
than
just because
any male or female, or male or female
yeah,
actor.
don't ever work with him. Yeah, don't if
Yeah,
you are upset about not being paid the same amount, do not work with him.
because
And
he's gonna make way more than you just because of who he is.
yeah.
So
And that's
yeah,
just that's because of him being Iron Man, creating like the literally the MCU itself. He is literally the face of the MCU and what it is today.
yeah,
So it makes sense, even though
yeah.
I don't think
No,
he deserves that amount of money unless he doesn't. The best thing that he's acted in was Oppenheimer. He was great in that. But
yeah, I thought it was really good too. But
um,
this next topic's
yeah,
definitely going to
we
be.
definitely went off the rails there. But yeah, so let us know about your thoughts on this Ray movie if it even should be released. I don't think so. And Lucasfilm just in general is just they they're incompetent. They really are, and they don't know how to be organized anymore. Kathleen Kennedy is a terrible head lead. And, yes, you can say whatever. She's put out great stuff and like, she's a good producer, but she does not know how to lead a freaking studio. If she did, we wouldn't be having 10 years of not even I'm being dramatic. It's been 5 years since the last Star Wars project on the big screen. We're getting a Mandalorian movie that doesn't fucking count. That is a continuation of a TV show. And so yeah. So
Yeah.
time for Kathleen Kennedy to scoot, get out of the White House. Um,
Oh my
really,
goodness, that's so
really
funny.
upsetting a lot of people in this one.
Um,
Well, well, if people are gonna get
do I need
upset,
to introduce it?
they're gonna get upset at this next one. But
Well, I think there's a way to not get upset because it's just an interesting prospect. So recently, Medium released an article about how Star Wars is introducing a transgender clone trooper. Now, obviously, with Star Wars already being in hot water, just with bad storytelling and everything, people like to make everything right, political, regardless of what it is. Not agreeing, disagreeing, etc. But basically, a lot of people are very upset about the fact that this is a thing. Um, I think the interesting thing for me, and it doesn't even matter of like what the character is, it's the fact that it's a clone. I think when all the clones are supposed to be literally the same thing, it
Yeah.
makes less sense for this type of character because they wanted all the clones to think the same, be the same, do the
Mm-hmm.
same. So then
And
to have something, yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna step in here. They do have something called defected clones, but the problem is you're not gonna call a transgender defected because then that goes again. And so, I want to
yeah,
point
that's
things clear.
different.
I try to be political free on this channel because it's not my place to tell you who you should vote for or anything. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I'm here to talk about. But every once in a while, it does collide with one entertainment, film, and political standards do eventually collide with one another. And so sometimes I feel the need to speak on it. So I'm not going to say like, oh, transgenders this suck, and like most channels out there are right now talking about the subject about how ridiculous is it to have such and such in this. I'm more going to come from the standpoint of how does this make any sense from a story aspect? That's the real issue here, and that the real fault at this. You see the people that are cheering on for this, like the transgender clone stuff. You're not. I'm not going to say that you are not in fault for cheering for it, but I'm going to say that you're in the wrong, it's kind of the wrong way of cheering for it because this goes against everything that you are wanting to cheer for. Because at the end of the day, Disney thinks of you as a checkbox on a list. And that's what this is. It's just a checkbox on the list, and they don't and there's no effort to this. And that's why they made it a transgender clone, is because it's like, well, what's very really well known? It's like what's the make it easier? Just make it a transgender clone. Okay, why? We don't know. Just do it. So we check off the box. And when you really think about the clone itself, like how Carson already described it, it's like, okay, it's like, yeah, you can have a transgender clone. Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to call it a defected clone, and it goes against everything what transgenders are fighting for, is that it's not that it's that it's something in their DNA. It's something that they were born as. This book, I don't think it's out yet. I think this is just like, a leak thing that was published, if that's correct. Um, I think that's what it was. But this shows that it is a choice in that. And so that kind of so you just I said like and so my point is being like you need to know when to what to cheer for something and not to cheer for something, and this is something not to cheer for because it doesn't make any sense and it doesn't meet your morals what in your political ways either. And so it just feels like you're someone that's cheering for something that is just for the sake of cheering because it represents you in some form, and you don't care about the story aspect of it. Now if it was literally any other character, like just
It would make
whatever, it
sense.
would make sense. It's like, okay, yes, all right, understandable. Like you literally make it, but the problem is it's also too close to reality that people want to go watch something to escape reality. But there's also some of those people that want to be somewhat intertwined with reality so then they feel better about themselves. And it's like you cannot have both. You either escape reality or you go watch a biopic. And it's like
Yeah.
it's
Well,
and
and here's the thing is that even the clones, there's not a lot of like Clone Wars does a really good job of making each of the clones have a different personality, but at
but
the end of
that
the day,
that
they're
but
all very
that
similar.
yeah, that's not about their DNA. That's about their choice and what they do in life. And so,
But even then, you see like i- it's interesting how like it would be better if it was like a Jedi
yeah,
that that would make more sense to me because Jedi have more sentient idea of like a more fluid reality for
yeah,
them,
or,
whereas
or
like a clone is supposed to think and act and do a certain thing.
yeah,
That's just how
or
they
if it's
are.
an alien that can change its sex, like frogs can. Like, are there certain frogs that can change their sex? Or am I just
Yeah,
referencing
but
Jurassic Park?
no, that's the thing. But
Okay.
I don't even think it's about even about the nature of it.
Well,
It's
I
about how
know, but
clones are all supposed to be the exact same thing.
but
That's where it's really interesting.
I know, like,
Um,
but my point is still trying to be of like, because like if it's because like if you even had a transgender Jedi, that would still somewhat feel like it's in your face a tiny bit. But if you wrote it in a way where it's like,
Well,
okay, if
it's
it's this,
not, but it's not about being in the face. It's about does it make sense in the story?
yeah,
And to pick a clone
it
makes the
doesn't.
least sense of it would make more sense as a Jedi
And
or
also
like
having,
a senator
yeah,
or, one of the
or and even having it like it's like the pride colors, like the transgender colors on the armor of this clone is way too close to reality. Like this is a galaxy a galaxy far 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 away. This is meant to be so distant from our reality that it's not supposed to connect to our reality at all. Besides, like yes, there's politics, but like that's just like a base rounded like to make it like have some form of grounds and like understanding. But when you start elementing, like start putting things from our reality, it loses its imagination. People got upset about Andor for having regular screws in the show. Like that they noticed like
that's so funny. That is
it
so
it's
typical.
it's like if people are like that, that's how nitpicky that people are about Star Wars. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like they want Star Wars to feel so separate from our reality that even a screw they can point out that's like that's not supposed to be there. That's not right. And so and that's how this feels. But this feels way more worse than what it was. And that's the whole point of my check that when I'm bringing out the pointing out the checklist. That's what this is. It's just a checklist so then you can feel better about yourself. That's what this is. And
Yeah.
you hate me to say it. Sorry, life sucks. I know. But
Well, and I don't even think it's that. I think it's just how can Disney do it in a way that makes more sense, that is
they,
better suited for the characters.
yeah.
And that's where there was kind of a disconnect. They keep making comments like, "Oh, I couldn't, we need more diversity in characters." Yes, I would agree. I think it's very
Well,
difficult to be
Star
like,
Wars is already diverse as it is. It's literally like like it's a galaxy of aliens. How diverse can you get?
well, I mean, I think that's what they're trying to say is they're continuing to try to build that, which I think is fine. But how you do it and with what characters, there's like a very tactful, thoughtful way to approach it. And a
And this
clone,
doesn't feel it. This just feels lazy.
yeah, well, it's like,
They want to please audiences without giving the effort of pleasing them.
well, they already made it seem like the idea of, so Clone Force 99 was
Yep.
considered an,
Defected.
yes, defective. You think of
What what's the chick? What's the girl's name?
Omega.
Omega, which was I don't think she was a defective. She was like a one-off experiment. Is that what she was? I didn't finish the Bad Batch. I've only watched the first two seasons. But she wasn't even a defective. She was like an off, like a one-off type of deal, like a test subject. And so where they went in and changed her DNA to make it where she is a female. But this is not what this is. Because if that was the case, they would not allow the like with the things that created the clones. I can't say their names right, because I'm just terrible with names. They're so picky about their cloning, like in like and this is like all Star Wars confirmed lore and like in the movies and the shows if you pay attention and all that. They're so picky about their cloning and so passionate about what they want,
Mhm.
about what they do, that they would not allow Omega to go out and be part of this because they were afraid of that. This would be so this was not something that they miss in their cloning. This was something that this clone um oh that this clone allowed it to be, basically, like it was the choice of this clone, and and it goes against everything about transgendering, and so it just doesn't make any sense from the story.
Yeah, so it says where they're genetically similar, they weren't always identical in their physical or behavioral characteristics, but they had very similar thinking. So they were all like trained to be specifically like creative for fighting and whatnot. Now you could say that they're changed in their environment, but then the problem with that is that then they would be making the statement or choice that Disney is on a weird like they're either saying it's a choice, which could come across as very negative to some people, or they're saying that the clone was designed that way. But if that were the
But
case,
then that
then
goes against
other
all the
clones, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Disney navigates this because I don't think there was a,
well, I
like I
I
said,
did I did see something or heard something that Bob Iger is trying to get out of the culture like wars type of deal that involves politics and all that. I did see something, and I think this book was already in the making before that. Like it was supposed to be like I think it was make starting like 2 years ago. And so this might be just one of the aftermaths of the things that are contracted to come out. And even though that probably Bob Iger doesn't want to come out, because like I don't know if you saw this, but there was a bunch of controversy when it came to Inside Out too about like the workers like the workers on that wanted to push how I'm forgetting the character of Inside Out too, but
Riley, right?
Riley, yeah, they wanted to push Riley to be a lesbian, and it's like this is a kids movie, and she's like 14 in high school, just going into high school. Why is that your priority to try to make her a lesbian? Why is this? You're pushing. This is my argument. Your sexuality does not make up your character. Doesn't matter in real life or or in any form of story. I do not give a shit about your sex in a story. If that's like, okay, like, pushing about like, coming out to being gay. Okay, all right, sure, that's like a story beat. But at the end of the day, that does not make me like you as a person. It's like, for example, let's say if I wrote a character that was a YouTuber. That doesn't make me like that person anymore because I can relate to him as a YouTuber. It's about that person as a YouTuber does and what that person as a YouTuber would represent. That's what would make me like you as a person, not
Right.
because
And
you're
I,
gay.
I'm just thinking, is it a good story?
Yes. And
Like,
so,
does it make logical sense for the
and that's
character?
that's
Which,
why people don't like the accolade, not because such and such was a woman. And that, like, and like, what's I'm bringing up the accolade as well. It's like there was a joke about this creature having pronouns. It was just like it was so random and it doesn't make any sense. And it's like that's what you like. You like being a punchline of a joke because someone doesn't know your pronouns. And it's just like, and it's like when you think about it more, it's like why is this I can't remember the name of the character in the Acolyte either. Why does she think that this thing has pronouns? Like this is the first time encountering this alien animal. Why does she assume that it has pronouns? It's just like it's so random. It's like they again checking off a box. Just like gotta check it off. It's like, okay, why does she know that this thing has a pronouns? We don't know. We don't care. Just check it off because it's like
you're
if
talking about OSHA, right?
yes, when she was like when they're finally going off and trying to find May, and um
Yeah.
on that one planet, and it's like it just doesn't make any sense. And it's like, okay, if they set up like the character of this thing and it's like, okay, it's like, hey, I have pronouns or whatever, and it's like she forgot its pronouns and they try to make a joke out of it, then sure, it would make slightly sense. But either way, it wouldn't be funny because it's like I don't get the point of the joke of not knowing this thing's pronouns. So it's just
Yeah.
it's again, it goes back to checking off a box. And that's how Disney thinks of you, is checking off a freaking box. And we need to stand all together, not fighting one another. That's the problem, is that we're all that's Disney's trying to pin us to one another, literally, like against each other, to be like, and so then we can forget about that they're the ones making the product. They're the ones putting it out, that they're the ones
Yeah.
that are the issue. And I'm sick and tired of it. So that's why I'm not afraid of talking about this. And that's what, but I'm also why I'm putting it at the end. So then whoever gets pissed off can just, I can say, like, thank you for watching an hour and a half of the podcast. But so,
Hmm. No,
uh,
I don't disagree. I think there's a lot of things that they could do much differently or more strategically, and sometimes they just don't because it's very forced.
put, put actual effort into your stories, Disney. It doesn't matter your sex or anything. Put effort into it and have it make sense. And having a transgender clone, doesn't make any sense. And what's also insulting from a Star Wars fan, there's news outlets that are political view. Their headlines are calling this like a stormtrooper, and it's like it's not a stormtrooper, it's a clone. Get your stuff right. Like they're
Yeah,
even
well, it says that it says the clone meets with Anakin and
well, no, no,
Obi-Wan.
no, no. I'm not talking about like this article, but there's been other articles that are more like political view articles, or that don't know anything about Star Wars, are calling this a stormtrooper. That's the problem. So now you have people that know nothing about Star Wars getting into this argument, and it's like we're not arguing about because it's a transgender. We're arguing about this because it's a clone that isn't meant to be transgender. Or if it was, you would call it a defected, but you're not going to call a transgender person defected, because then that goes against the whole meaning of being transgender. That's the whole point we're trying to make here. And so,
Yeah, that makes sense. So
and people
sweet.
will hate me for saying it, but sorry that the truth hurts. Sometimes like the hardest things that you don't want to hear is the truth. That's pretty much the saying of the phrase of that. So let us know your guys'
Yeah.
thoughts in the
No,
comment
I'm
section
interested
below
to hear. So,
about this. Do you agree? Are you still interested in the character? Maybe even if it's a transgender clone, maybe it'll be an interesting character at the end of the day. Who knows? But
usually the
I
clone stories are better, but I'm just curious to hear what they or how they kind of rationalize or talk about it. That's what I'm interested in. If
yeah,
they could do a good job of it, it could turn out to be pretty good.
yeah.
So that
But yeah. So moving on to our final topic, it's a video game topic, but it's also an alien topic. And I'll add more alien stuff to this
oh
topic as
gosh,
well.
here's Alien.
But Alien Isolation 2 is happening finally after 10 years, because IGN killed it with their terrible rating of the first game. But so this came out after, like, the success of Alien Romulus, which made $350 million at the box office. Congrats, Alien Romulus, being the second highest alien grossing film of all time. And
Not
so,
surprising.
but if you guys don't know what Alien Isolation is, it's a video game that came out on the PS4 that tells the story of Ripley's daughter. And so
That should be
Ripley,
interesting.
yeah, Ripley's daughter went is went out to try and find her mom Ripley after the events of Alien. And she ended up going to the space station that uh you know et cetera, that end up having an alien on it. And so, and the game ended in a way that was a kind of a cliffhanger, and I'm curious to see where they would pick up. I believe there was a mobile game that came out a few years ago that was called Alien Darkness or something, that was almost like an Alien Isolation sequel in a way. um Let me look it up real quick. I should have taken the note of it. um but it was almost like uh a Five Nights at Freddy's type of deal. Let me see. Dark Descent, no, Alien Blackout, that's what it's called, Alien Blackout. um and I believe Ripley was in that game too, so I'm curious to see what events that this one picks up from, or if this is just another story in the Alien universe in a game form, but the same creative team that worked on Alien Isolation. Maybe that's the possibility, but I would love a true sequel to Alien Isolation, continuing Ripley's daughter storyline. I think that would be very interesting, very cool. And I mean, like, have you played Alien Isolation, or have you seen any gameplay? Like, did you know?
I have seen it. I'm not surprised. IGN though, 90% of the time gets stuff wrong. So
Besides Venom 3, they gave it a 4. It's bad when IGN gives something a 4. So
yeah, that means that they didn't pay IGN enough to rate it higher.
yeah,
So,
but
but
um,
no, it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how it works, and I'm excited. So,
yeah. Like, the one thing about the first game that was a game changer was the AI, because the alien, is the AI for the alien was very unpredictable. And in IGN's review, they did not like that. But so I'm curious to see what would be the next evolution step, because it's like almost like for like, George Lucas or like, Steven Spielberg, like they wanted to evolutionary. I don't think that's the right word. They wanted to take like technology to the next step every time they make a film. Like, George Lucas wanted to do more with CGI for the next Star Wars trilogy, like because he created ILM. That's I think that's the name of the company that does all that type of stuff. He's like the one that um, carved the path for that. And so I'm curious to see if they will do anything like that, if they will take an evolution step with this next game besides story wise. Um, but more Alien news wise, Alien Romulus is also getting a sequel, a true sequel as well. Which fantastic. I love that. I
Another
love
Alien movie.
Yeah, I love Alien. I love Alien Romulus. It sucks I have to wait till December to get the physical release. But
Oh
uh
gosh, here comes the physical release.
what's funny is I didn't put this in here, but they're also releasing it also in D VHS, not VHD, VHS. Yeah. It's like that's for collectors, all right? And I'm honestly considering getting it,
You
but
have to buy a $300 VHS or VCR, excuse me.
I'm not going to use it. It will just sit on my desk somewhere. Um, but scalpers will probably get to it before me. So yeah, that's kind of that's so
That's
that
crazy.
was the alien news of the segment. We might just have an alien segment every episode at this point. But yeah, that's all we got to talk about. And well, I guess more on the Alien Romulus sequel. It's going to continue the story from Alien Romulus. It's not going to be like a separate universe or a separate story in that universe or whatever.
Oh, see,
Um,
I'm interested to see how they do that then.
yeah,
I'm curious.
well,
Hmm.
and the director of Alien Romulus will be returning for the true sequel, and the characters Kaylee Spaney and I forget I know the name of the actor is like Anthony. I forget his last name. He played the android brother in the film. And so
I don't know.
they'll be continuing those two storylines in the next one. So really like those characters, and I really like Alien Romulus. So can't wait. But yeah, that's all we really got to talk about this episode. Um, how long have we been recording for? Almost like an two. Well, when did we start recording? Like 8:40, I think, 8:50. So almost 2 hours, I say. Wow. But we had a lot of stuff to talk about, and
We did.
in deep detail too, at least towards the end, there. But yeah, let us know your guys' thoughts on all these topics down below. And yeah, some of these, of course, will be broken up into their own videos. Um, but yeah, probably one of the better episodes I say that we've had in the past few months. A lot of stuff would have been like update, kind of like re-update news type of stuff, but this has been like, a lot of like new game changer type of news, I say.
No, 100%. And there was a lot of different things that we have to adjust because, new information came out, which is pretty interesting. So
Yeah. So, but yeah, let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys very much for watching all this way. Guys, don't forget to check out Dubby. It's an energy drink company that I am somewhat partnered with. Use my code ACrawford05. You get 10% off. Link in the description to their website. Use the code for anything. Also, thank you guys very much for listening to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You guys can check out the video version on YouTube, and also check out my movie reviews, show commentaries, movie commentaries, show reviews. Got a bunch of stuff on the YouTube channel. Anyway, guys, thank you much for watching. And like always, we'll see you guys in the next review.
I'll see you
Bye,
later.
guys.
Have a good one.